Okay, what's up, guys? Hope the audio's okay. Welcome back to another episode of Anything But ASIC, and we're gonna continue off where we left off about talking about privacy coins and why they're gonna be big for the future. We'll be reading a article from the Washington Post, and it's a bit of word salad. It says that it's going to be a 12-minute read, and yes, maybe a 12-minute read, but actually speaking out loud, it's going to take a lot more than that. So I'm going to give you guys the TLDR of what I actually read, and here's hoping that I made this meme hoping that 2022 will be the year that privacy currencies really get noticed, but you know, Japan's not having none of that. All right, so by the way, the music in the background is from ATM's AT.M, and it's atmosphere's breaks, progressive breaks. Is basically just really just ambient and down tempo music. This is one of my more favorite mixes of AT.M, and pretty much everything is just fire on this. Like, if you just want to zone out, this is great to listen to. And once again, I don't own the music. I don't think he owns the music either, but I gotta put that disclaimer there. It's fair use disclaimer. It's not financial advice, also disclaimer. But let's jump into the article. I'm gonna give you guys the TL. Okay, so Americans, why they distrust Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram with their data poll finds. Poll between not trusting some tech companies and still wanting to use their products. People look to government regulation, according to the Washington Post straw school poll. Now, what's wrong with the sentence? Okay, if you know anything about tech companies, especially large ones like Google, Facebook, anything, generally the people funding these companies are the government, the 333s, the CIA, FBI, all that good stuff that run honeypots in these things. So trusting the government to form regulation on something that they're funding is not a good idea. Just overall, no, it's not a good idea at all. But TLDR on this is people are finding out that big tech is bad, and a lot of people, big tech is selling their data, and mostly they're annoyed, but they definitely don't trust big data with their information. And big data includes Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft, blah blah blah. Now, what I found interesting is that they list all these companies here, but really, Microsoft owns TikTok, which is now here. Google owns YouTube, and Facebook. Oh yes, okay. So Microsoft owns TikTok, which is up here. Facebook owns Instagram, WhatsApp, and Google owns YouTube. So really, there's only like 5 companies here. And if they were to throw in Twitch, Amazon owns Twitch. So there's only like 5 companies here that they're really against. And once again, this is by the Washington Post, and they actually put this in here. And people have tried to argue this with me, that yes, Amazon, Jeff Bezos does own the Washington Post. So this being on the Washington Post, this is being put out there to show that they are watching, they are understanding, and they're about to make some adjustments. If you ever tried to get a job at Amazon, you know that getting a job at Amazon, it's their way or their highway, but it goes a lot further than that. They actually want you to get on their network. And it's not just, oh, you're gonna download some app. No, it's like a whole gambit of things where you're on their network. If you ever download their Chime app, it really goes through AWS and you're on their network. So this is what the future is becoming, that if you want to deal with any of these companies like Amazon Prime, you have to have that account. You have to be on their network, and they're going to start closing people in so that you do have to deal with them. Otherwise, you can't participate, and you're going to be broken up into what's coming down to what I guess looks like these tribes. But basically, people are saying that their phones are listening to. Okay, people think their device is listening to. Okay, so first of all, Android, which I'm assuming you're normally conforming, making their $40,000 a week, they're most likely have an Android. And yes, Android is cheaper than your iPhone, and yes, it is. They're both listening to you, but where the information goes, well, that's completely, it's still in the dark, but it's going somewhere. And as we found out with a certain case with was an Arabic couple, Apple tends to protect their users in their ecosystem, at least for now. We're not giving away their information or text, all that good stuff. Whereas Android, it's just wide open, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I guess. But I don't think you'll ever find a government agent really using the Android. Oh my god. And let's see here. Perhaps the most alarming pervasive suspicion is one that is still dismissed by many experts and the companies themselves as an urban legend. About 7 in 10 Americans think their phone or other devices are listening to them. Now, if you've been around Rob Braxman's channel, you've been around, if you're into cryptocurrency, especially privacy currencies, you know that we're in this because we are being spied on. It's just ridiculous amounts of information gathering and big data collecting is not an urban myth. And I used to do this experiment. I used to do this experiment with people. I would talk about something random, and I would tell them, go on YouTube and scroll down on their search feed and see that what I talked about today, which you would have never brought up, that person would never brought up on their own and never thought about, whereas it'd be like a karate or something, and they would have never thought about that. They haven't looked it up. See if it's in their feed, and sure enough, they would call me later, like, "Oh yeah, it's in my feed. This thing's listening to me. Yeah, it's happening." But yeah. If you want that to stop happening, there's always the Google phone, which can do tremendous amounts of could help you out tremendously with the spying, because Google phone won't have the pre-installed apps on it, and it will still function as a quote-unquote smartphone. Well, it'll still be listening to you possibly, but I guess not as much. Data will be collected on you. And social media companies. Now, once again, this is the Washington Post, owned by Amazon, owned by Jeff Bezos. Jeff B, I'll call him. Social media companies. So everything they're telling you on this, you have to take with a grain of salt. And know that they're pushing some kind of a narrative here. Now, once again, I said that Amazon does have Chime and they have their own network. So maybe these companies could be trying to tribalize people and push them into this sort of ecosystem, this closed off ecosystem, like how iPhone has everything, I this, I that, iPad, iChair, they're making the iCar now, and it's just going to be, oh, you come in here with your Google Android. We don't do that here in our iCity. And you're just never going to be let in, and it's going to cause problems. and it's going to cause tribalism, and it's going to cause, I guess, somewhat of an elitist class, which we're already heading to. So where does privacy currencies come into this? Well, if you ever seen Oxen has sessions, which is kind of like Signal. Well, why not get Signal? Well, because, you know, Signal does still answer to the government. I mean, last time they didn't slip up. They were okay with it. You know, they didn't really give out information because they don't actually supposedly don't store information, but I've seen a couple of slip ups where some SJWs have invaded their company, quote unquote, and have asked to see the Carfax. They asked to see the documents of the data that people are passing through the app. But even if you don't share even if Signal doesn't collect the data, your phone is still listening to you regardless. So yeah, so privacy apps are probably the way to go. And just straight out, I mean, if you want privacy, straight out, just never using a smartphone or using a Google phone. And let's see, the bottom of this, most say targeted ads are annoying and invasive. Few found them helpful. Criticisms, data, trade. As I'm just going through this because this was okay. So talk about the government regulations. I get on it. Regulating. Look for fixes from government regulations to self-regulation. The fact that people continue to use Facebook doesn't mean they like it, said Jack Goldstone, who directs the Center for Study of Social Change Institutions and Policy at the SCAR School, I don't know how to pronounce it, of Policy and Government. I should say, I don't know how they want me to pronounce it. Policy of Government. It is not unexpected that people will continue to find ways to interact with a program, even if they're deeply suspicious of its broader social impact. That's how we're wired. What is striking about the results of the survey, says Goldstone, is how distrust of big tech unifies Republicans and Democrats. Oh God, it got political. Oh, even though they may have different reasons for disliking the companies and their policies. Now, see, why would you throw out Republicans and Democrats? They were trying to spin a narrative here. It's a tech company trying to spin a narrative. Just FYI. Big heads up. Overall, 64% of Americans say that the government should do more to regulate how internet companies handle privacy issues. I already talked about why that's going to be a failing system in itself. A sharp increase from 83% who said the same in the 2012 Pew study. Democrats support for the government doing more to regulate how the internet companies handle privacy grew from 45% to 2012 to 82% this year, while Republican support is up from 30% to 52%, and support from independents is up to 38 to 66%. Like, the independents should be running on Tor and IPS. That's just all there is to it. Don't even bother with regular communications. That's just what it is. I don't know why they went and made this political. Well, I do know. I just pointed out why they made this political. It has to do with the Washington Post owning everything and being sponsored by the government, but whatever. The point being, in this word salad, is that these companies are collecting your data, and if you don't want that, you will be ostracized. You won't be part of the elite class to have their eye everything. So I'm gonna leave it there. And you guys tell me, will you be joining the elite class of the everything, iCar, iPad, iPhone, iCity, iHouse? Or will you be some of us outskirt people chopping wood and carrying water? I'll see you guys in the next one.